My Astro Droid RexPi is powered by the Lipo 3S batteries. I need to be careful not to over discharge these batteries, and indeed not over discharge any of the single cells within the battery. So I want a solution to measure the voltage of each of these three cells, so I can take some action to either shut down the Droid or switch to a second battery. The INA3221 looks like the right solution. Let's take a look. Hi, I'm John, your concierge to the world of the Raspberry Pi Pico, Pico 2, Robotics, IoT and any other fun tech. Remember to subscribe and join the community. I'm not an expert on LiPo batteries, so what I'm going to share in this video is based on my research and my understanding. These batteries contain a lot of power and can therefore be potentially dangerous, so do your own research and know what you're doing. And I'd suggest take some precautions. I have a fire extinguisher standing ready in my study just in case. This video is about the INA3221, a 3-channel voltage monitor with the potential to measure current too, if I want. This is handy as our batteries have 3 cells within them that I should be carefully monitoring. If you like this video and it helps your learning or your projects, then why not drop me a cash tip using the super thanks button below the video, or there is a link in the description. Remember, I'm saving these up to get myself to the open source conference in San Francisco with the other makers. That's a long way from here in the UK, and I'd appreciate your help in getting me there, and I hope to see you there too. Please do hit the like button and subscribe for more.
This video is sponsored by WolfSSL. WolfSSL is a great solution for secure communication in the digital world. WolfSSL provides many security libraries, including its lightweight, fast and highly secure SSL and TLS library, designed for embedded systems, IoT and of course the cloud environment. Whether you're developing for automotive, aerospace, industrial automation or consumer electronics, WolfSSL has got you covered, with support for the latest standards and protocols, including TLS 1.3, DTLS 1.2 and FIPS 140-2. WolfSSL ensures your data is protected at all times. Join the thousands of developers who trust WolfSSL for their security needs. Visit wolfssl.com to learn more and get started today. The INA3221 is of course available just as the chip itself, and we can embed that into our own designs. But for this video I'm going to use a module, and a module that I actually imported from a Chinese importer for a few dollars. Now if you're buying them from a local retailer, they'll be a little bit more expensive, but still they are only a few dollars or a few pounds and to get these services. So these INA3221 modules are triple channel monitoring with an I2C interface. These ones will measure up to 26 volts or up to 1.6 amps. So enough for a lot of uses. Certainly the 26 volts is great for what I want to do. The current is probably a bit low. I'll come back to that. So on the bottom of the board we've got the logic power, which I'm going to put on 3 volts. We've got the I2C interface, and there's actually some interrupts there that I'm not going to use in this video. We've got ground for the voltage that we're monitoring, and all of the voltage has to have a common ground. And we have 3 sensor points at the top there. Now they confused me a bit at the beginning, because I was thinking of this very much as a standard voltmeter and thinking, well, I've got 3 channels. What I can do is just place the voltmeter across each of my loads, which in this case are going to actually be the cells directly coming out of my battery, and I can measure the volts. Well, that's not really quite how this is set up. In fact, there are 2 voltage meters that we can do per channel. There is the direct voltage between the input and ground, which they call the bus voltage, and then there is a shunt in there, and that's actually a 0.5 ohm resistor, and then measuring then the voltage across that shunt. And the point for doing that is that then we can actually infer current. So in actual fact, we ought to be using the module like this, where we've got that plus input to each of our channels is coming directly from our voltage supply that we want to actually measure as the V-bus voltage, and then the Vn minus is going straight into our load. And so, you know, the input actually into our circuit is actually coming straight through this board. So all the code I'm going to talk about in this video actually I've included in my Astro Droid project over on GitHub, and it's in one of the experiments there for the INA3221. So unfortunately I couldn't find a nice library for the Pico for the INA3221. What I did find is a very nice library for it from our friends at Adafruit. And I've actually just basically ported their library. Now their library is designed for Arduinos, so this takes a little bit of porting and a little bit of hacking around to get this to run nicely on a Pico SDK, but actually it wasn't too bad. It took me a couple of hours to get this to work. So we have a library here for the INA3221, which basically allows us to get any of the information from this chip, including your manufacturer IDs, die chip numbers, to confirm it's the right device. But importantly, actually for this video, we can get the shunt voltage and the bus voltage, which is exactly what I want to do. There are some more advanced functions in here as well. To port this, I've actually had to port the library for their Adafruit's I2C device, which is what actually sets up and holds the device itself and then reads and writes to it, and also the this bus IO register, which is how they actually handle registries. So these devices generally just have a whole set of registers that you can write to or read from, and indeed that's where we're reading the voltage from. And this just simplifies the library to it. So I've just ported those over to give us access to that. And that gives us a value that then I can go and actually read some values. So let's just have a look at some of the values coming off of that from my battery. So I've measured the voltage coming off the battery and coming off of each of the cells. I'll explain a bit how I did that in a second. But you can see actually total voltage from the battery is 12.4, but actually across just two of the cells it's 8.3, and across a single cell it's 4.2. So I'm using these Lipo 3S cells, and they're 11.1 volts. These come in a range of currents from about 200 milliamp hours up to about 6,000 milliamp hours, and they are based actually on 3 cells. The ones I've got are not in cases, they're actually soft mounted, which reduces the weight, but actually also makes them more dangerous, I guess, as well. The voltage output that I'm going to drive into the robot is on an XT60 connector coming out of these. They're designed actually to go into remote control cars, but they've also got a second connector, which is this balance connector, and it uses that when we're charging it to make sure each of the 3 cells has an equal amount of charge within it. And that's a JST-XH connector with 4 pins on it, and those are connected across the 4 batteries. So the XT connector is basically giving you that big power connection directly to drive motors and heavy usage things, and it's coming from either side of the 3 batteries. Whereas the balance connector is actually giving you each of the individual connectors. The wires for the balance connectors are not quite as thick, so presumably not able to provide the same level of current. So what I'm actually going to do is basically measure the voltage across each of those cells, or that's what I want to do. So remember, our INA3221 actually has a common ground, so I can't quite measure the voltages quite as I was thinking. And also it's trying to take voltages through the shunt in order that it's got that bus voltage and that shunt voltage. So thinking about this, I was sort of thinking, how am I going to measure this across my cells? And I thought initially that I would actually have to do this and take each of the values off of each of the cells, put it through the INA3221, and then have a 1 mega ohm resistor or equivalent high voltage resistor connected to ground out the second channel, so that I could actually get both the shunt voltage and the bus voltage. But then I realized actually I don't really care about the shunt voltage in this one. All I actually care about is the bus voltages, so I can just ignore the output out of each of the channels and just focus on the inputs into the channel, and therefore just get the bus voltage measured. And that's what I've chosen to do, and that seems to work perfectly well. I did also think that I could perhaps take channel 3, which will be the total voltage across the battery, and put that straight into my Droid. But then I realized that that's going to be over the 1.6 amp I expect, or certainly in danger of being over the 1.6 amp to drive or the motors, etc. So that's probably not a good idea. So I'll just measure the voltages across the battery. Now, to read our values from our Lipo 3, what I'm actually interested in is each of the cell voltages, and we've got 3 cells there. Now, I actually am not directly reading cell voltages. I can read the first cell, and then a combination of the first cell and the second cell, and then all 3 cells. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of maths to actually break out each of the cell voltages. But that's okay, and so that's what I've done in this little class here. I'm just giving myself access to be able to read each of the cell voltages plus get the total voltage being available from that battery. I've also put total current in there because I was thinking I could do that, but then realized that actually the current I'm drawing for the motors is actually too much. So it's not like I can actually put one channel to go straight through this board. So I can now actually monitor the voltage coming out of each of my cells and make sure that I'm staying above the discharge levels.
The INA3221 has some more advanced features to be able to monitor the bus voltage and alarm on certain levels being breached. I plan to have the RP2040 monitor these and broadcast the readings to ROS2 anyway, so I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to use those more advanced functions. My next step is to do certain PCB design for the power management module. I need to do some thinking about how many batteries I want to manage and indeed monitor. If you like this video and it helps your projects or your learning, then why not drop me a cash tip using that super thanks button below the video or the payment link that's in the description. Remember, I'm saving these up to get myself to the open source conference in San Francisco with the other makers, and I'd appreciate your help in getting me there. And of course, I'd love to meet you all there too. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye bye for now.